So Elon Musk made a post on X. Basically, he was referring to a major war between China and the United States in 10 years at the most. He says that major war between major powers inevitable. So when you say major powers, we can talk about the United States, China, Russia. We can also talk about maybe Turkey, Iran, France, England, India. There's maybe who else am I missing? Japan. But anyway, what they're referring to is with China. And why might be the case. Well, China is in a really bad spot. Demographically, their population's collapsing. Because of their one-child policy, there's not enough children to replace the adults who are over time dying, which has made labor costs in China go up substantially. And it's also made it so that in the future, there will be more people that are elderly than there are people having to take care of them. And China, although yes, it's become very wealthy on the coast with its manufacturing base, it doesn't produce oil. Yes, it does have coal reserves. But in order to make all this happen, they're absolutely dependent on international trade to export all their stuff. And they also need to import oil and natural gas to make the components for their fertilizer, for like the plastics, all the stuff that they do. And that has to be imported. So if the United States, as it has been doing, has been stepping back from the world order, trade order, and you're having these competing systems come up like BRICS. You're talking about there's some talk about replacing the U.S. dollar with some kind of a gold reserve standard. I don't know how realistic that's going to be. I made a video in the past about that, kind of going into more detail about that. But if that order breaks down and China is not able to export all their stuff, or their labor has become so expensive that it's not competitive with other countries like Vietnam, Indonesia, and Mexico, we're talking about economic collapse in China. And in such a scenario, yes, the Chinese Communist Party, which has just vowed to stay in power no matter what, is going to get desperate. And it's a possibility that they can try to go to war with either Russia or the United States. They might go to war with the United States to pressure the United States to continue the trade system, which sounds absolutely ridiculous. But the Chinese Communist Party is a bit insular. They could also try to go to war with Russia to take over Siberia to get those natural resources. But we're talking about nuclear conflict there. So there's no way that turns out well. I really hope that doesn't happen. And what I really hope is that the world, as a result of these economic pressures and political pressures because of the internet, people, had these free-flowing of ideas that have been going around for decades, that instead we find a way to reform these systems in such a way that we can continue to uphold functional institutions, and we're going to have to cannibalize the ones that are dysfunctional. The problem with that is that people in power are going to resist that. So it'll be those people are going to be the reason why any war gets started. And if common people like you and I get hurt along the way.